This is the new BMW i4 and this is an electric sedan. It's basically what you get when you take a 4 Series Gran Coupe, take out the petrol powertrain, replace it with an electric one, and voila, this is the final result. Now, of course, this is based on a platform which is supposed to support both petrol as well as electric powertrains. So let us find out, first of all, is this still a great and fun to drive BMW or not? And because of the platform sharing, is it a compromise in any way or not? So let's start off. But before we deep dive into the i4 and its technologies, do not forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell icon and like and share the video as well. Now, starting off with the design of the i4, and I'm sure a lot of you would expect this thing to come up first, and we'll get it out of the way. It's this massive grille, and well, it is there on the i4. There's no way you're getting past without ignoring it. And well, a lot of people say it kind of grows on you. I've been driving this car for a couple of days and I'm yet to come to that point where it will start growing up on me. So well, once you move past this grille, both physically and mentally, and you look at the rest of the design, it's a very sharp looking car. It's got the proper BMW proportions. It is exactly what you would expect from a BMW sedan. It's got a long hood, it sits low, and it's got a very sporty profile. It's the coupe roofline. All of it you add up along with the very striking alloy wheels, which have got these nice spinner logos. So put all of it together, and of course the i4 is a very sleek looking sedan which doesn't look too different from its petrol going counterparts, and that's a good thing. It doesn't stand out on the road shouting, "Hey, I'm electric." It just looks like any proper fast and sporty BMW sedan would. So that's a good thing, and that's why the i4, except this grille, is a very good looking car. Now, once you get inside the cabin of the i4, you instantly realize there aren't too many telltale signs to tell you that this is an electric car. It looks like any other normal petrol-powered BMW cabin would, and that's a good thing. Overall, it has a very nice design and layout. Of course, one of the key attractions inside the cabin is this curved display where you have both screens, the center console screen as well as the instrument cluster, kind of combined into one unit. The curved display just gives it a very good visibility and a wraparound effect along with the center console, so that gives a very nice tight feeling around for the driver. Then if you look at the overall design of the dashboard, the color combination, again, that too has been done very nicely. I'll come back to the infotainment screen, but beyond that, if you look at the seats, the doors, the kind of practicality and the space that you have, all of it is spot on. You do not find any kind of a compromise that has been made inside the cabin because it's an electric, so that's a good thing. And coming to, well, the system. Now, this is powered by BMW's i8 system, and I'm not really a fan of this. The earlier one was much better and easier to use. This one, of course, does away with a lot of physical buttons. So you can see there aren't too many physical buttons, only have the power and the volume button and a few HVAC controls here. So this menu, the way the interface is, it's very complicated. It's not easy. You need to dive into the menus, sub-menus for finding things, and that means that you will need a lot of time to get yourself well versed with the system. I'm still not sure why they made it that way. I think probably it's the way Germans thought we could have fun with the car. So they thought, how to make this more fun? Let's have more fun. So makes the menu more and more confusing. And that's exactly what they've done with this. If you talk about the instrument cluster, again, this one has improved a lot over the previous version. Again, it's a fully digital display, gives you loads of information, can get confusing like the previous version, but this one has a lot of options that you can change the display. And that means that you can select a lot of display options and you can do away with the way things look. So that's a nice thing. So overall, in terms of the front cabin experience, I think the i4 hits a lot of right boxes except for the iDrive 8. that is one thing that leaves a lot of room for improvement. So in a nutshell, it's a nice cabin, feature loaded, very tech enabled, and of course you've got the electric sunroof, you've got wireless charging system, you've got a lot of bells and whistles all around the cabin. Everything's nice, neat, good looking. The only thing that could be better is the iDrive 8 system, but beyond that, it's a nice cabin to be in. Now coming to the rear seat, well, getting past these slick frameless doors, ingress egress can be a bit of a bother for some people, but once you get inside the cabin, well, in terms of space, it's exactly like you would expect from any BMW sedan. It's got a decent amount of space. Again, you can see it got good knee room with the driving seat adjusted to my driving preference. 5 feet 8 inches for reference. I've even got decent amount of headroom for a sedan. So even if you're kind of a little taller than me, you'll still find yourself to be in a comfortable position. Remember when I told you about how this platform is built to support electric as well as internal combustion engine cars? Well, see, this is a nice telltale sign. The transmission tunnel. Now, being an electric car, this car doesn't need one. There is no transmission tunnel for the shaft, but it still has one because it's the same, basically the platform that's used for the petrol as well as the electric car. Now, like I said, the space is good. The kind of improvement area in this part is the rear seat. Now you can see I'm not a particularly tall person and the under thigh support is just not there. So imagine, the taller you are, the worse it will get. And this is a bit of a bother, especially if you're going to be in this seat for a long time. You're going to be here if you're going out on a long drive. I'm not sure how comfortable the seat is going to turn out to be, because lack of under thigh support will mean that you will not find it good after a long time. Of course, there's this nice cushion armrest. The backrest angle, the cushioning, side support, all of it is spot on. It's just that the issue with the lack of under thigh support. So as long as that doesn't bother you much, or if you're okay with that, I think overall the cabin experience of the i4 is pretty decent. And now on to the most important part. How does the i4 drive? Well, let's get the basic stats out of the way first. This has a nearly 81 kilowatt hour battery, and with the single motor that powers the rear wheels like you would want in a BMW, this has an output of about 335 horsepower over 400 Newton meters of electric torque, all of which is available right from the moment you stomp on the accelerator pedal. And as far as acceleration is concerned, like you would expect an electric car, this one goes blazingly fast. And it will get from 0 to 100 kilometers under 6 seconds, which is very good for a car of this size and weight. Now, since this is an EV, of course, there's no gearbox, and that means that when you're going through the speedometer, you're going upwards, there is no brake. So it's just a constant wave of power that you're riding, and it just goes on and on. So even if you're getting up to triple-digit speeds, high triple-digit speeds, the i4 never seems to run out of power. So in terms of performance, well, this feels almost like any adequately powered petrol BMW would. In fact, I find it to be a lot similar to the M340i in terms of driving performance. And well, that's the straight line. You would expect it to be fast in the straight line, but what about the corners? Because that's where the fun part in a BMW lies. And this again is a proper BMW even through the corners. It's got the nice equal weight distribution front and rear. Also, the way the chassis is set up, the way the suspension is tuned, all of it just comes along well when you are attacking a corner. And as a result of that, you can have great fun through the corners with the i4. Keep in mind, it's a rear wheel drive car, so if you switch off the traction control, you can also end up doing this. So like you saw, if you want to have fun, well, the i4 absolutely rocks it in that department. And in terms of, like I said, handling, again, it's got predictable handling, very good through the corners. There's a lot of grip. The tires also do a great job. The only difference that you might notice when I compare it to, say, an M340i or a 330i is that because of the weight, the turn-in isn't that fast. So the front feels a lot heavier than you would find it in a petrol-powered BMW, but that's the only difference. As long as you're mindful of that, the i4 can go through corners at a very rapid pace. Now moving on to the charging and how much does it go in a single charge, where BMW claims over 500 kilometers on a single charge, but considering the way we've been driving, and I'm giving you a perspective of driving in Delhi, a bit of traffic, now today is the weekend, so less traffic, put all of it together, and I think easily you should be able to get a usable range of around 450 kilometers. And that means that range anxiety is not a word which will come to your mind anytime soon with the BMW i4. Charging options, well, if you can get access to a 200 plus kilowatt hour charger, you can charge it from, say, 10 to 80% in just about half an hour. But let's be honest, there aren't too many of those in the country. What you will end up finding most commonly in terms of fast charging is the 50 kilowatt hour charger, and on that you can take it from say about 10% to 80% in around about 1.5 hours, a little under 90 minutes. And the wall box charger that you get with the car when you buy the i4, that should take you about a little over 8 hours to top off the battery completely from about 10%. So that's in terms of charging, and of course it also comes with brake regeneration. So every time you decelerate or you're coasting, you can you put back some amount of charge into the battery. It also comes with regen levels, and you can change the regen level to the point where you can also do single pedal driving. So the i4 has enough braking power wherein you do not need to apply the brakes. You just leave the accelerator and the car will brake itself and come to a complete stop. You can use it in slow to medium speed conditions. And the only slight issue I have here is that to change the regen levels, you need to go inside the menu using the touchscreen. It would have been far more easier if there were just the pedals behind the steering wheel to just change through those, and it's a bit cumbersome to go into the menu and do the same. But beyond that, in terms of ride-in quality, again, the suspension, like you would expect in a BMW, is set up slightly towards the stiffer side, and this one also has a heavy battery pack that it's hauling. So it's on the firmer side, but it's not too firm to the point that it'll get uncomfortable. So ride quality, because of the way the suspension is set up, and especially when you plonk it into comfort mode, is a very, very pliant, and of course you can easily have a very sedate and a comfortable ride. In as far as handling the road undulations and the speed breakers is concerned, it's a low car. You just need to be mindful of the ground clearance. As long as you're mindful of that, it's not bad to the point where you will end up scraping the underbelly on every second or third speed breaker. So in terms of practicality, again, no problems with the i4. Performance, great. And as far as being a proper BMW or not, it definitely is a BMW that excites and is thoroughly fun to drive. Alright, so now on to the last part, and that means let's talk about the prices. Well, unlike many other electric cars which are priced obscenely more than their petrol counterparts, this one isn't. The BMW i4 in the eDrive 40 version, which is on sale in India, can be yours for 69.9 lakh ex-showroom, and for that kind of a money, the kind of package you get, the car, the features, the space, the battery, the range, and the driving experience, I think the i4 is a great pick. If you are out there in the market looking for a comfortable and a luxurious electric car which can be great fun to drive, I think the i4 is pretty much the only car out there. And if I were personally to pick a car, an electric car, And if I had the money to buy something in the range of 70 lakh, I think it would most definitely be the i4. It's that good. It's an amazing car as long as you can get past that grille.